Hey guys, how are you? This is Matt from Ottawa Gatineau Dual Sport Riders. Thought I'd help everybody out a little bit by making a video on how to create routes for GPX files for your GPS or your phone apps that you use. I know that for some people in the group it's a little hard to figure out how this all works. It's a little bit of a learning curve, so I thought I'd put this video together to show you guys. So basically, the system that I use to make most of the routes for the group is Google My Maps with also recording rides while I ride with my GPS recording the routes. So I'll show you how I do that. So we're going to go to Google My Maps, not Google Maps, but Google My Maps. Basically, once you open this is where all your maps will live. So as you can see, I made a few maps like the Bytown Adventure loop that we're making for the group this year and the new Devil's Mountain Run, some of the routes that we're working on. But I'll just show you exactly how that works. So we're going to click create new map here on the corner. Once we open that up, we'll get a new map view. So we'll just zoom in here to Ottawa. Normally what I do is I have a side of Google Maps open at the same time. That way it's a little easier to kind of search things. With this, I can also use Google Map View and see if the road's gravel or not. It helps out a lot actually trying to plan the groups, trying to avoid as much paved roads as possible, that's for sure. So if we just go down to Elmont, Calabogie, Elmont area is an area that a lot of the riders like to ride in. I'll show you how I would quickly put a route together. So here we're just going to rename the route. Just name it Elmont Trail Ride. And we'll hit save. Once that's saved, just pick a point on the map. Let's say everybody meets in town here. You have a couple options. What you can do is you can add lines and then just draw the map. Works really well for making off-road maps or making like obscure maps that Google doesn't know the routes to. So a lot of like the forest access roads and stuff like that Google won't pick up on, you'll have to draw them manually. You can also add a driving route. So if we click add driving route, then let's say we just start in Elmont. We can actually just scroll over, and with our arrow keys we can move over the map a little bit. Or you can click on the middle mouse button to kind of drag and drop. But this will actually, wherever you point the map, it will just automatically make a driving route. So if Google Map has the information for it, they'll automatically try to make a map. Works really well for gravel roads or pavement rides. It's an option that you can do. So once you have a little bit of an area, you can keep on clicking, and then quickly make a route this way. Double click to stop your route, and then it will automatically make a route. So it's a driving route that it automatically created using roads. Again, works great for anything that's road legal, gravel routes or paved routes that you want to make. But for trail riding, sometimes it doesn't pick up on all the side roads. So that's where drawing the line comes in. Also here, if you go down to base map, you can actually change what the map layout looks like. So I like using satellite view because you can actually see what the heck's going on as far as the terrain, and you can see some trails from actually the GPS view. So it works really well to actually make out routes. So let's say we instead of making the drive route, we'll just make it out of a drawing of a line. So for that, we'll have to add import on another layer. Then we'll have the option here. So from the same area, we'll just start drawing our line instead. So this is another way of making it that's not as automatic. So we'll just go to here, we'll go over up to this road, go to Cider Hill, and then from here, what we'll end up doing is go over to, let's say here, come up, and then this is a section that I know of is a trail, but you don't see it through Google Maps, right? So there's a trail system that goes here, so you can kind of create your own by using like the shadows of the trail line, but sometimes that's not always accurate, so that's where I would record the route instead. And then an area like this where you can clearly see the trail outline is a nice place where you can draw your own line for that route and make it work that way. But in sections like this where it dips into the forest, you don't know if it's going like wide turnaround like this or if it's a nice quick little dip in. That's where recording the actual route works really well to get the old finer details of the trail. So let's say we made a little route here and we're done. What we're going to do is, sometimes you have to refresh the page, it works a little weird. But here's our line, so it's kind of hard to see. So to change that, what we can do is we can actually click on it, and then this little style icon, we can change the color to, let's say, red, and then also enlarging the width of the line. Makes it a lot easier to see the trail this way. So that's the trail that we created. So let's say we're all happy, we made this trail, and then we went on a ride to test it, and we discovered another trail that we want to add into the map. Google makes this really easy. You would just go here to add layer. To this add layer section here, you would just go import. You can change the layer name if you want to. So we'll just call this ride 1. We'll hit save, and then we'll import. Here's where you can import like all the files that you actually recorded with your GPS, so that being your Garmin, or let's say if you have a phone recorder that can an app that can record your GPS through your phone, you would just take that GPX file that makes you, and you can add it in. So we'll just add in a portion of the Trans-Canadian Adventure Trail. The guys at graveltravel.ca do an amazing job of putting this route together, so definitely go check those guys out. For a small donation, you can get access to the route that crosses the entire country, and it's amazing. They also have a bunch of other routes available near the capital, actually, that surround the Ottawa area that are really recommend checking out. So we'll just use the Ottawa to Bon Echo Cloyne section of that route. So I just hit import there and actually imported that section of the route. So pretend that this is like, let's say you went out for a Sunday ride and you recorded your trail. This is how you would import it into the Google map. So using the section that you drove, see how it's completely different from the line. So you wouldn't be able to get this detail of the trail by just guessing. So that is a way that you can kind of add sections of your weekend rides to a bigger route and put it together for a big ride. So let's say we were all happy with what we put in. We can add in little extras, like you can put in these little waypoint sections. Let's say there's a restaurant here. You can say, food, and then you can save it here. And then what's nice with Google is that you can kind of change the icons. So if somebody's looking from Google Maps, they can see like, oh, okay, it's a restaurant here, and you can change, the coloring of what it is on Google Maps. Really cool feature for overview. The only thing is that when you do export it to a GPX, you'll lose some of those features. They'll only show up as like red waypoints like you see throughout the map here. That's because the GPX file format doesn't do the extra icons like the Google KML do. But it's kind of nice because so if you're sharing the map through Google Maps so people can get an overview, it's a nice way of kind of adding more detail to your map. Once we have it here, what we'll do is actually now we're ready to export it. Let's say you want to share it with friends, or you just want to post it to the site or the Facebook page. The way you would do that is just here, we'll click the 3 buttons, and then we'll actually export to KML, KMZ. So you can actually do just little sections, or you can do the entire map. You don't have to worry about keeping up the data because it's not going to be an online map. We will export as KML instead of KMZ. KMZ is just a different file format. For what we're working with, we want KML. We'll download this. We'll hit download. Once that's downloaded, we can actually go to a site that's called kml2gpx.com. This is a really good site. So basically, you can create your entire route using Google Maps, but the problem is that Google Maps doesn't output to GPX, which is the file format that Garmin's and other devices use to actually run the GPS route. This is where this comes in. So we'll just choose which way we're going. It can also convert GPX files to KML, which is a nice feature to also have. So we'll just choose a file that we want. We'll just use this AutoRoute just as an example, and then we'll convert. That will convert the route. I already made this route, so ignore that. Ignore what it's saying there. But for you, it would actually save another route just because I already saved it. And with that file, you can then take it and insert it into your GPX or your phone or your Garmin and be able to ride that way. You might need like a third party. I know for the Garmin GPSs, you You can also use Basecamp. This is just a cleaner, easier way. Basecamp has a bit of a learning curve for, that most people don't like. This is just a quick way of making routes. Hope it's a little helpful. Once you have that file, you should be pretty easy to just download it into your device and then you're good to go. I do have problems with some of the riders that have iPhones. iPhones are really, Apple in general, they make file sharing really weird and they stop file sharing. Like it's hard to open up documents through an actual iPhone. Android works flawless, no problem. There are workarounds I would recommend. I figured out that sending the file through email versus anything else works better. The iPhone allows you to open a file that way. So if you are sending GPX files to another person that has an iPhone, I'd recommend sending it through email. That way you can open them and then open them through a third-party app on your iPhone. Hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help. That way, you guys can get more involved in route making, and then, it makes it easier for everybody to share rides that they go on. Thanks, and have a good time, guys.